Right then, lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. We are back again with the 5 p.m. show. Back at it again, and we are gonna be speaking about Raheem Sterling. Look, this is a story I've picked up, over the past 2-3 hours. I've seen a couple of authentic, sources speaking about Raheem Sterling to Arsenal. It's not the first time that we've been linked with Raheem Sterling, at least in the past 6 months. It's not the first time. Mikel Arteta seems to like the guy, but the lack of game time Raheem Sterling is experiencing at Manchester City is also playing a very, very big role in all the transfer speculation around him as a player. Of course, we know, and you know that he's not actually, he's no longer a favorite. He's no longer, a big favorite like he was, at Manchester City's, at Pep's Manchester City. He has to find a way to get game time so that he can play for England in the World Cup 2022. And that is, of course, there is some time, but January is one of those ways he needs to find a way. Either he gets into the Manchester City squad, which is not really easy at the moment. Look, I don't know why they dropped him. I don't know why Pep really dropped him, because he's one of those players that I don't think were dropped because they are not good enough. He's one of those players that I don't think that they were dropped because of a decline in form. But we're gonna try to discuss more of that. So can Arsenal probably be the perfect answer to the call of Raheem Sterling? Because if we get him, we give him the game time. He can replace Nicolas Pepe. We need him. He needs us. But we're gonna be speaking much about Raheem Sterling and probably the availability and chances of Arsenal getting such a player. He's not world class, but you've got to you've got to believe that he's one of the best best wingers and attackers that the Premier League has seen in the past 5 years. So Raheem Sterling is the main topic in this video, but I would love also to speak about Dejan Kulusevski and the £25 million bid that Arsenal are apparently preparing. Now, I've spoken about this player. This should be the third video in a row that you're talking about Dejan Kulusevski, and the fact, the truth is, the stories are coming in thick and fast about Arsenal and the future of the player. So probably why not? We'll try to discuss that. £25 million. He's more of an attacking midfielder. It's more like he's more of a winger. Actually, I was watching. I think I was watching the Guna Talk, and Harry Simeo was actually saying that the fact that we are linked to more, was it? I think it was the Guna Talk, they were saying that the fact that we're being linked to more of wingers and attacking midfielders, maybe there could be something in the bracket. Maybe Nicolas Pepe. Arsenal have decided that Nicolas Pepe is not good enough. Some of us have already become frustrated with Nicolas Pepe. Maybe we just need to move on. So we'll talk about Nicolas Pepe's situation, Kulusevski, and Gabriel Martinelli as well, because his father has actually come out and said, look, my son has received a couple of offers from European clubs. And look, this could be much like a call for Arsenal to give him game time, and one that I really do not have a problem with. I've already said Martinelli deserves more playing time, right? The reason as to why we are not giving him game time is not anywhere close to making sense for me. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't make the starting lineup, and that shows how organized we are becoming. That shows how competitive Arsenal is becoming. But the fact that he doesn't even have 10 minutes per 90, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Maybe the manager wants him to work a little bit harder, so that he can actually be a starter. Maybe there is a new role Mikel Arteta wants him to play, but definitely there should be some game time gazetted for Gabriel Martinelli. It's gonna be the first topic we dive into on this video. So your thoughts are much appreciated as well. Same as the interaction through hitting the like button. Actually, the best way you can ever support the podcast is watching videos, and then smashing a like on the video. So let's get this one to 100 likes, people. Thanks everybody for doing that. I know we'll get there. I mean, it's been a crazy week. Very beautiful results on this channel, and it is really you guys that are actually doing it. So please smash a like on the video, subscribe to the thing. Why not? Let's get the party started. All right then. So let's start off with Gabriel Martinelli, right? Because I think with Gabriel Martinelli, the story is not too big. So let us start off with Gabriel Martinelli, and then we'll try. We'll dive into Raheem Sterling. As story number 2. Look, I should be providing. They're called what? What are they called? Footnotes. So on these videos, chapters, right? And I'll be trying to do that, but the father to Gabriel Martinelli, his father is called Joao, right? I don't know if it is also called Joao Martinelli, but it's called Joao. Has come out and made a statement, and the statement is very, very clear. He said a couple of clubs around Europe have put in offers for his son, that is Gabriel Martinelli, and he says that at the moment Arsenal have made their stand and stance very clear about Gabriel Martinelli. They do not want to let him go. They still consider him as a very important part of the squad. Right. So that is that is Joao. And the first thing I'm gonna say is I'm gonna thank the family, and I'm gonna thank the father, because we've had a couple of parents for players. I mean, not to be disrespectful, but Lucas Torreira's father, if you still remember the talk that was going on, a lot was actually being said, by Torreira and and the father. We don't want to stay in Europe. We don't want to stay at Arsenal. We will leave, things like that. And in the end, they're in Europe. Yes, not at Arsenal, but at Fiorentina. So look, I think the father is handling this in a very, very professional way, in a very, very professional manner. And I'm really gonna say, big up to to Martinelli for having a father like that. So the father's actually come out and said a couple of clubs have come for Martinelli in the January transfer window. They would love to take him out on January, in January on loan. And Arsenal have made their stand very clear that they will love the player to stay. They are not actually going to let him go. Now, at the beginning of the season, we had around 2-3 games where Aubameyang and Lacazette were still struggling with COVID, and Martinelli, Balogun started the season. Obviously, we can't, you really can't judge players or a player for 1 or 2 performances. We had a very, very bad game against Brentford as a team. I think we had a very bad game against City as a team, and we also had a very, very bad game against Chelsea as a team. Those 3 games, look, any player, not all players really, but most of the players that actually featured in those games, I would give them, I would excuse them, especially the likes of Martinelli and Balogun. It was an awful environment. I think the spirit, however much many people at the club do not accept, the spirits were very, very low, and it was nasty. It was absolutely nasty. Believe me, you do not want to be in a side that is losing games, consecutively like that. So Martinelli started the season, and he really didn't do well, right? But the father's actually come out and say that ever since he's come back from injury, he's not been playing more regularly than like he would want. And I agree with that, because in the last time we were in the Europa League, Martinelli was one of those star players. Actually, I think under Unai Emery, he's one of those players that were actually so good in the Europa League, and that is how he became the fans' favorite. Because in that season, the season that was shared between Unai Emery and Mikel Arteta, Martinelli scored many goals. He actually recorded double figures in you know, in that season, and that is where he became the fans' favorite. And he got his breakthrough before Smith Rowe and before Bukayo Saka. So look, if he feels that he needs to be starting for Arsenal, if he feels like I need to be starting, I need to be a starter in this team. Look, you can't blame him. Honestly, that is the bitter truth. You can't blame him, right? You can't blame him because he feels he is on on that level where where he should be competing directly with Bukayo Saka, where he should be competing directly with Emile Smith Rowe. But the lack of game time at Arsenal can be explained in a couple of ways, but it is, for me, it's not a reason for him to leave. Obviously it's just 20, and there is a big future ahead of him, especially at Arsenal. But Mikel Arteta doesn't run away, with all his excuses. Right? We might try to to create a couple of excuses, but he doesn't. He doesn't get away with all that. For me, Martinelli should be a regular bench player if he's not a regular starter at Arsenal. We know that. Was called for the Olympics in Brazil. He's one of those talents that are really, just they're just about to arrive, right? 2 years from now, 3 years from now, Martinelli is going to be a shining star. And my biggest worry is that, you know, the father sees the potential, the agent sees the potential. Mikel Arteta doesn't see the potential. Now, look, all this talk of Arteta hates Gabriel Martinelli and things like that. I am not into that. I'm not actually buying into that. My question, and my big question is, why doesn't he give him some game time? That is what I don't understand. Whether he wants him to play a different role, maybe as striker, or as a left winger, it doesn't concern me. He's a versatile player. He can be your striker. You could just put off Aubameyang in the 70th minute and play Gabriel Martinelli, and it works out. He could be our winger. You could put off Emile Smith Rowe in the 70th minute and play him on the right, or you could play him as an inverted winger when you put off Bukayo Saka in the 70th minute or in the 80th minute. One thing that I'm gonna blame Mikel for is, even when he puts up players, he doesn't give Martinelli first choice. Because for me, on that bench, apart from Martin Odegaard, who has lost his position to Alexander Lacazette, there is no player that should be. There is no forward, in those forward positions. There is no player that should be coming on the pitch other than Martinelli. No one. No. Pepe, at the moment, with his degree of disappointment, I don't believe he deserves more chance. Because what has Pepe done to deserve more chances, whether off or starting, starting games? What has he done really, especially this season? I think Martinelli, despite the fact that he's losing game time, when he comes on, he impacts the games. When he comes on, you see a player who is really, really, enthusiastic when he comes on. Right, his character, his tenacity. He's not lost anything, on his game. I think it was last season when Mikel said, and I quote, he said, he's done everything. The reason he's not playing is my fault. Right. So if you make a statement like that, and you do not give a player time, why do you expect a player? Because look, he might have said it unconsciously, probably, because he was asked about Gabriel Martinelli and why he doesn't get, he's not giving him game time, and they said, he said it is his fault. Martinelli has done everything, right? He deserves some time. So if a player listens to that, if a player hears you out saying that, and look, this is not me saying that Arteta hates the player, and this is not me saying that there is some heat or anything like that in the Arsenal backroom. I believe it is absolutely okay. But when a player hears you in a press conference, speaking about how good he is, how intelligent he is, how he adds tenacity to the game and things like that. And then at the end of the day, he goes 5 months, 6 months without regular football, right? on top of that, you're picking players that he thinks, he would do better than in Nicolas Pepe. It creates some trouble, right? It creates some trouble. But for me, if I'm going to defend Mikel, because I really can't defend, I really can't be his lawyer at the moment. It's so difficult, right? It's so difficult to be Mikel Arteta's lawyer in this situation, because he's giving at least, you can see that Pepe gets some game time, right? Pepe is getting some game time. That is what they are asking for. That is what Martinelli is asking for, and his family, and maybe his agent. That give a player at least 15 minutes. Because for me, 15 minutes for a player like Gabriel Martinelli, 15 minutes per 90, 5 games in, you're creating another big prospect. And we know how good Martinelli is. We know he's a big prospect. We just need to do better, right? When it comes to giving him game time. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Make sure you smash a like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. But make sure that the likes are going up. So Gabriel Martinelli, I know many of you are absolutely going to agree with me. Martinelli deserves more game time. Look, it's hard to bail out Mikel, right? But look, one of the things I think is that Martinelli might be not as that good this season, especially maybe in training, and that's the reason as to why we're not seeing him. Or he's performing below average than what Mikel Arteta thinks. And look, that would be some kind of good strategy. But again, with a young player like Martinelli, I think it's better to do reinforcements than penalty. Because look, I mean, it's more like, it's more of the psychology. Do we respond more to reinforcements? Do we respond more to punishment? At times, if a player is at the edge of Burnley now, then maybe punishment, dropping him on the bench and keeping him away from game time could push him to elevate his level. We've seen that with David De Gea and Dean Henderson. United used it, and I think David De Gea is a better goalkeeper this season. But with young players, right, because they're so emotional, because they're so fragile, because they're emotional than logical, you've got to use reinforcements. I think that is the better way. Look, humanity and humans, if anyone uses punishment, I do not disagree. Humans are humans. But look, with Gabriel Martinelli, I think we should be using reinforcements. If he does something good in training, give him 5 minutes on the pitch. If he does even better, 10 more minutes. If he does better, 15 minutes. If he has a very good week in training, it doesn't hurt to drop Saka for one game and start Martinelli probably for some 60 minutes and show him that you're this important. Because for me, it's what they want as young players, right? It's what they want. They want to feel part of the project. They want to feel important. They want to feel loved. They want to feel, they want their names to be chanted. Now, you've got to bear with Martinelli. Looking at Saka, his name is being chanted, throughout the streets of London. Same as Smith Rowe, same as even newcomers like Tomiyasu, Ben White, Gabriel, Tierney, Tavares. All these players are, their names are being chanted in London, right, on the streets, right? But it hurts. It really hurts because around last year, but one, right, his name was being chanted on the same streets, and now it's gone silent. He's asking himself, what am I doing wrong? Why, look, yeah. But by this time, after 90 minutes, my name was on top of the billboards. My name was on top of the Arsenal, on the Arsenal fans, fingertips. My name, my face was on the, was on the screensavers of Arsenal fans. Now it is Emil Smith Rowe. Now it is Saka, right? I need time to win that back, right? It's the competition that Mikel is talking about, and for me, he's suppressing the same competition that he's asking for, right? He's suppressing it. If if Nuno is challenging Tierney and Mikel is happy about it, why isn't he then giving Martinelli a chance to challenge Smith Rowe and Saka at the same time? Is he afraid of selection dilemmas? Maybe. He could be afraid of selection dilemmas. For me, which is a big, it's a big turn off point for me. If a manager is if a manager keeps players out, right, just to avoid selection dilemmas, it would be a big turn. But I don't think Mikel's doing that, on purpose. I don't think he's leaving him out because he doesn't like him. There might be a reason that we do not know, right? Maybe fitness, because he's always had fitness issues, but he's taken some time ever since he picked up an injury, right? And he feels he's ready, and he feels he should be involved more. And I feel like he should be involved more. So, what are your thoughts on Gabriel Martinelli, lads? Leave that in the comment section. Let's move on to the next one, the big one, Raheem Sterling, right? And with Raheem Sterling, I want to give credit for to this story, for this story, and I always do credit sources, especially if they are good sources. So big up to One Football, big up to One Football. I will give them the credit. I will give them the credit because they deserve it. Honestly, they deserve it. So One Football did break this story, and look, a couple of other street vendors picked it up and started duplicating. But One Football, they have actually made it very clear. They have said, can Mikel Arteta get Raheem Sterling? And I love the headline, because the headline for me just brings out what the story is about. It's not about Sterling wanting to go to Arsenal or anything like that. It's all about a possible reunion that maybe a manager would love, to have with a player. So, according to the credible sources I've looked at, they're reporting that Mikel Arteta might be the one that wants a reunion with Raheem Sterling. So let's discuss, right? Let's discuss. I've seen someone in the comment section who said he's very old. Did I just see someone say he's very old? I saw that comment. Okay, right. So some of you are saying he is very old to come to Arsenal, and I disagree. Look, yes, I know you guys are all excited about Project Young Arsenal, Project Under 23, Project Under 24, and it is working out. So you don't want to add, old sheep into the young, into the young ones, into the lambs, right? And that absolutely makes a lot of sense. But let's first go step by step with Raheem Sterling. So the reports are that Mikel Arteta, if there is an opportunity, would love to re-link or would love to reunite with Raheem Sterling, a player he worked with at Manchester City under the guidance of Pep Guardiola. Both of them, I think, would love to work with each other. But look, let's be honest, right? Because, at times when you're honest, it makes a lot of sense. Let's be very, very honest. If you're Raheem Sterling, would you move to Arsenal? Probably yes, probably no. The only reason as to why Raheem Sterling moves to Arsenal is guaranteed game time, right? That is it. Guaranteed game. Because, look, however much we love Saka, however much we love Smith Rowe, I think if Raheem Sterling comes in, one of them has got to sort out their fate. I think Sterling moves straight into the Arsenal side. And not because he's been at City under Pep or he's wanted by the manager, but I think he would be very, very beneficial in that Arsenal side. Very, very, very beneficial. If you look at what we are trying to do, especially going forward, brilliant young players, and the kind of style we're trying to implement going forward, I think Raheem Sterling could actually fit in it on either on the left or either on the right. I think he would actually fit in very, very well. But look, so the reason as not if it's gonna happen, it's been reported that it might be an initial loan deal, right? Not to Arsenal, but to any club that is interested. It could be an initial loan deal in January. And the reason as to why it's being reported and proposed as a loan deal in January is the player actually is afraid of losing his place in the English national team. On the English national team. Look, at City, I don't know why he's no longer playing, but it's a bit of a disadvantage that the players that have actually come ahead of him are both English and they are both direct rivals. They're both his direct rivals on the English national team. Now, look, Southgate might be blah 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 yada yada yada, but he's not going to pick Raheem Sterling to start over Phil Foden if Foden has played 38 games in a campaign ahead of Raheem Sterling, who spent much of his time on the bench. He's not going to pick Raheem Sterling over Jack Grealish if Grealish has done well, for example, for 20 consecutive games in a campaign ahead of Raheem Sterling, who's been on the bench. And I think that's the biggest challenge that Raheem Sterling is going to have as an English player. I'm gonna tell you what. I'm gonna tell you the reason I think he's going to have it a challenge as an English player. Because if Raheem Sterling is look, this is me being fiction, all right. If he's like Swedish, right? If he's Swedish, he would go anywhere. Yeah, he would go anywhere. But the premium attached to good English players, right? The premium attached to good English players also hurts them, right? Yeah, when we are signing them, we are always complaining. We are always crying, oh, they are expensive. Oh, they are cheating us. Oh, this is unfair. But think about them as players. When this premium has been attached to their backs, and then they find themselves out of favor in the pecking order, where do they go? It's either to an English club. At the moment, how many clubs would want to take Raheem Sterling? Probably many of them. But how many would City actually genuinely say, okay, go to Liverpool? Can they say that? No. Go to Chelsea? They can't do that. Go to United? They can't do that. Go to where? Go to Arsenal? Maybe they can, maybe they can't. Maybe the relations between Mikel and City could make it easier. But to be precise, to be non-fictional, right? To be precise, to be non-fictional, his premium is going to affect him and his move. He's been linked with Barcelona. Look, this is not me trying to embarrass Barcelona, but they failed to pay 5 million for Xavi, and reports are that Xavi paid his own release clause at Al Sadd. So, in terms of money, in terms of unless he goes to Barcelona and the wages are paid by Manchester City, right? That could make that could make it easy for Barcelona, but Barca, their financial situation, I don't even want to talk about them in transfers unless they're selling someone. Madrid, he's been linked with Madrid as well, but I don't think it would be a January move, right? And actually, OneFootball did suggest that high chances are that he will stay at Manchester City until the end of the season, which I also see as a realistic option. So, but in the eyes of the player and in the in the camp of the player, they're looking at two players, Jack Grealish and Phil Foden, as direct competition at Manchester City. But that competition actually does, because if Grealish is Ivorian and Phil Foden is what is Ukrainian, it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. Yes, take my place at Manchester City. I still have my place at on the England national team. But these players that are replacing him directly are also replacing him directly on the England national team. And of course, don't forget the likes of Saka that are a threat to him. Even when they don't play in the same team, they threat to him on the England national team. The likes of the sprouting talent that Southgate has to deal with. He's gonna have he has already look. Southgate has more problems with sorting out the good talent than trying to sympathize with players who are not getting game time at their parent clubs, right? He's looking at Rashford. Because look, Rashford has done well ever since he came back from injury. He's looking at Mason Greenwood. Very, very wonderful start to a season. I think it's been more consistent than many United players. So those two are also there. They are saying we're a Manchester United duo that could actually play on the left and on the right, for England. Please do take us in. And you have the likes of Conor Gallagher that are really versatile and are coming up. That is more quality. Those are more problems to Gareth Southgate. So he has a lot to take in as a manager. So if Sterling sits back and thinks look, I've been in this game for more than 5 years. I've been in this game for more than 10 years. So he'll pick me. I think he might be wrong. So what the player is trying to do, and I think what maybe if it's the agent who's trying to orchestrate these moves and these stories, is they're trying to find a way to tell Pep Guardiola, please and please give us give us more game time. We need it. Look, I don't think they're wrong, right? I don't think they're wrong. Raheem Sterling has dropped out of the Manchester City lineup. The same goes to Riyad Mahrez, but not because they're poor for me. Not because they're poor. Because look, Riyad Mahrez last season in the Champions League when they reached the final with Chelsea, I think he was one of the best players there in their Champions League campaign, right? So look, only to be linked with a couple of 1-2 players, and then he's dropped. And then in the summer, Pep came out saying players like Bernardo Silva want to leave. Bernardo Silva is a regular, right? So it's absolutely crazy, and of course, I'm in no position, and so are you, to question Pep Guardiola. We can't, because he's a tactical genius. He's a tactical masterclass. He knows what he's doing. Is Raheem Sterling's time over as a player? I don't believe so. Yes, he misses a lot of chances, but that is a child. That is, I think that he picked up that gene of missing chances from his father, because that boy misses chances, and look, doesn't matter whether he's scoring many chances now, many goals, for Manchester City, especially in the past 3 seasons or 4, because he's been recording double figures. We spoke about him in the summer, and I said that one of the things I love about him, and why I would definitely take him at Arsenal, is he records double figures. He's not a 9, he's not a 10, but he finds those pockets of space, into the box, and he's gonna score for you. Double figures, 15 goals, 16 goals, 18 goals, 11 goals. Look, when you have wingers that can give you double figures, you're flying. You're absolutely flying. Look at Liverpool. Mane, Salah, and then Roberto Firmino scores 9 goals, but they are absolutely flying. It's the same thing with Manchester United when Rashid scores, when Greenwood is scoring, yeah, they are flying, right? But look, I think City know that this boy has done nothing wrong, right? And he's not done for as a player. I don't think there's been a significant decline in his performances. I don't think there has been a significant reason as to why he's been dropped. I think it's just, you're unlucky. We are bringing in Grealish, right? You know why? I'm doing well, yeah. But we also, I don't know why they brought in Grealish. Really, maybe for future purposes. And he's also a very, very great player. But when your club signs a 100 million player, they do not look for where to play. You look for where to play, and that is what has happened with Raheem Sterling. He's 27, 28 at the moment. I feel like I still feel like, as an English player, he's taken so long to hit his ceiling, right? Because for me, most English players, if you've seen them, have you seen these boys? English players, whenever they are 28, right? It seems like they're 44. Most of them actually, do not clock that age of 28, playing at a high, on a high level very well. Sterling has done it. Hurricane has done it. A couple of players have done it. Lampard, the likes of Steven Gerrard. But look at the likes of Rossi Barkley. Look at the likes of Jack Rodwell, and a couple of other players we can talk about. They come in as very high prospects, just like Raheem Sterling was at Liverpool, and then they dwindle. They disappear off the scene. We know that much is also true. So look, people, Raheem Sterling, yes, is looking for a small window out of this prison. He's looking for that very small hole that can provide that can provide some bit of light in a very dark room. But is it going to be Arsenal? Right? Yes, we can't do that. I think because of Nicolas Pepe, and I said we're gonna speak about Nicolas Pepe in this video because the two players that have been linked with Arsenal, Dusan Kulusevski and Raheem Sterling, they point to the weakness that Arsenal have in Nicolas Pepe, right? He's been displaced by ESR, and that is really, really unfortunate. So look, Raheem Sterling, my thoughts are very clear, right? My thoughts are very clear. If he doesn't find himself, right? If he doesn't, look, Sterling, if he doesn't find himself a way out, he's in big trouble. He's in big trouble. Yes, he might be called up for England, for England in the World Cup, whether he's on the bench or not, but then he might not play regularly, in the tournament like he would want. And that is what actually he doesn't want. But we're going to continue the discussion around Raheem Sterling. But look, now being linked with Kulusevski and Sterling points to Nicolas Pepe, and that's why I think I would take a player like Raheem Sterling. Sterling's almost of the same age as Pepe. I think Pepe is could be 1 year younger than Raheem Sterling or two. But if you look at what Sterling can provide and what he's achieved as a player, you just wonder who of the two is 70 million pounds. Who of the two is 70 million? Because look, we want look. We are Arsenal fans and we love our players. And I've already said, please back our players. Make sure you do back our players. But look, with Pepe, I think time has run out. Right? Time has run out. Unless we want to go back to the same situation where you have a poor player whose contract runs down and let him go on a free, or he gets into his last year and you terminate his contract. That would be mad. At the moment, we can still pull some 20 million from the sale of Pepe. I doubt anyone is going to give us 35 million pounds or 45. So it could be 30 or 25 or 20 around there. If a bid comes in for Pepe, 20 million pounds or 25, okay, let's say 30, I'm taking it. I'll be one person. If I'm selling players, at Arsenal, I take the bid, right? I absolutely take the bid because for me, Pepe, I don't get. I said it in the summer that he's going to be our key to the season. The boy got it wrong, right? The boy got it wrong. When I said it's going to be the key to our season, I didn't mean that it's going to be the major reason why we get these constant headaches all the time. That was very, very far away from what I meant. Because I remember when I did that video, I said that because he ended the season well, and I was very clear. I said, because he ended the season very well, I think he could be the key to Arsenal's season. He could be the key to our season. I thought he was going to have a flamboyant season, a very, very good, top flight, performance of his, in this season. It's not worked out, right? I just feel like his morale has dropped. I just feel like his attitude is back to negative, to primitive. I just feel like, I don't know. I don't get it. And look, we're early, it's still early in the season. Is it still very early? I don't think it's still very early. But you can see that players who want to play in those, in their respective positions are actually doing well. Actually, let me tell you this. I think there are only 3 players that I think, if you brought them in today in the Arsenal side, you would recognize a massive difference. Pepe, when you put out ESR from that wing and you introduce Pepe, yes, you definitely feel like something's lacking. Kolasinac, if you put him in the right, in the left, at left back, you will feel like, yes, there is something lacking here, right? There is something lacking here if you played him. And Pablo Mari, right? If you played Pablo Mari where Gabriel plays, God forbid that doesn't happen. If you played Pablo Mari, for example, if we played Mari in against Liverpool, you can see, you would see a huge quagmire state. So, and look, how has Pepe come to this, right? Was it poor sporting? I don't know. if it's the scout that the scout, I pray that the scout that scouted Pepe is no longer scouting more players like that. Come on, you've got to do a better job, right? You have a lot of time on your hands. If it's poor scouting, that was really, really poor. If it was embezzlement, like it was corruption, embezzlement, and things like that, like it was reported, that was really high class embezzlement. Because look, we've heard from Unai Emery, because Pepe is a Unai Emery signing, Unai Emery era signing, and he said, "I never wanted Nicolas Pepe. No, 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 no. I wanted Wilfried Zaha, and these lads forced Nicolas Pepe on me, and it's evident. Look, among all the players that were found at Arsenal, I think Nicolas Pepe has been one of the players that has been cuddled, one of the players that has been given the time, and I think Mikel has always believed in him, right? Thinking there is some key, right, to Nicolas Pepe, thinking that there is some way to unlock and unleash Nicolas Pepe. Well done, Mikel. This one, I'm not blaming you in any way, right? I'm not blaming you in any way. If the likes of Smith were doing better, if the likes of Saka doing better, look, you might. I know there are a couple of people who might go, "Oh, Pepe is playing poorly because of the system and the manager," but other players are doing well, right? Other players have started to do well. Pepe has definitely failed to figure himself, to figure out what he wants to be. And look, I'm not diving into Nicolas Pepe anymore. I think 25 million, 30 million, take the bid, bring in someone else. Whether that person could be Raheem Sterling, whether that person could be Noah Lang, because we've been linked with so many wingers, and that's Rafinha, Noah Lang, Kulusevski, now Raheem Sterling. It shows you that Arsenal realize that there is something missing somewhere, right? There is something missing somewhere. And look, for me, Nicolas Pepe, well done, mate. You could go back to Lyon and Lille in the French League One and probably unleash yourself even better, or go to Newcastle. I think, but I don't think Eddie Howe would take Pepe. I don't think he would take Pepe. And look, I could be wrong, right? I could be wrong, but I don't think Eddie Howe takes Pepe, because he's another serial manager, another serious manager. I don't think he's gonna, be entertaining all that kind of, nonsense and anything like that, anywhere close. Okay. Then away from that, I think the last topic is Dejan Kulusevski. Like I've said, but before we dive into Dejan Kulusevski, I would love to ask you guys to smash a like on the video. Thanks everybody for doing that. Massively, massively appreciated. If you do that, I'm really, really grateful. So look, Kulusevski and Matteo Guendouzi. We'll talk about Matteo Guendouzi as I take some of your comments. But with Kulusevski, now reports are starting to elevate from that level of interest to us now being reported to want to place some 25 million pound bid on the player. Now, I think he's found himself unfortunate at Juve, maybe with with a kind of attacking quality they have, however much they're struggling. But I think he finds himself as just a substitute, coming in cup games, coming in 1-2 games off the bench, and he wants to be a regular starter. He wants to be that that player that gets game time. One thing that I took out of the one football information is another young player that would do well if Arsenal brought him in, because we still have we are also having a project of a similar project to him. Young players, ambitious. Of course, we want them to pull in the same direction that, like we have like we've been told. Look, I'm not really buying into that. But all I'm saying, right? All I'm saying is that a player like Kulusevski would be an upgrade and a better choice to Nicolas Pepe. Because if you brought in Kulusevski, yes, he wants game time, regular game time. We can provide that, because we are going to let Pepe go, definitely. At some point in time, Pepe will have to leave. So we'll have to let Pepe go, Pepe go, right? We'll have to let Pepe go. And, as if that is not enough, I still feel like we need an attacking midfielder. I've looked at some of these clips as a player. He can play on the wings, but for me, he's a very, very exciting attacking midfielder, right? Very, very exciting attacking midfielder. So we've made inquiries, and now we want to place 25 million pounds as a bid. I think Juve will not want to attempt to make any losses, right? They will not want to attempt to make any losses on the player. So if they paid 30 million pounds or 30 million euros for the player, they would want to get at least a profit. Because look, his ceiling is up. He's really talented, and his resale value, yes, he's not really playing regularly, but his resale value cannot have dropped like that. Over a few months, right? So talented young player, bring him in, kick Pepe out, forget the likes of Noah Lang, forget the likes of Rafinha. That could be difficulties. I think this could be an easy deal to do. Yeah, it would be an easy deal to do. If Juve do not want to sell in January, good enough. We could still go for him in the summer. It's something that I don't know. I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but it's something that I feel like would work out. I don't know, right? If it's something that I feel like it could work out. But anyway, that is all about Kulusevski, Sterling, Pepe, and Martinelli. And now I can see we can have a chance to to chat and see what you people do think about all these stories, right? Akia says, Cossy, I'm happy. Cossy, I'm happy to be with you this evening. Thank you so much, Akia. And it says Raheem is too old, bro. I don't think he's too old. I don't think he's too old. No, I don't think it's too old. And look, you need the balance as well, right? You need the balance as well. Look, we've already spoken about this before. You can't have a group of kids, right? Sent out on missions alone. You might need some experience. You might need some pedigree. You might need some players that know how to get things done. And I think that's what you get from players like Thomas Partey. We brought him at 27, right? Let me just get this right. Come on, give me his date. Right. So he was born in 1994, age 26 years of age. We signed Partey at 27. We signed Partey at 27. So 26, Raheem Sterling, get him in, right? Get him in. Because you just need that extra quality. No, don't we? We just need that extra quality. And he has got it. He's got it, right? He has it. He's got it. So, look, I'll take him. Not too old. 26, we signed Partey at 27, right? It's not too old, unless otherwise. But I don't see him as a very, very old player. And then Samuel says we need more goals for a player and his caliber, right? Like Raheem Sterling. Farouk says the problem Arsenal jumps about a lot of players and then end up with nothing. It really has. But look, that is you being unfair. The club signed 6 players, right? Last summer, 6 players, new players. 6 new players. I think that is that's a statement that really wouldn't work since last summer, Farouk. And then Samuel says it will be perfect. It will be a perfect a replacement for Nicolas Pepe. Lucas says Raheem can be the best option for Arsenal. And then Akuna Matata says, hello Cossy, how are you doing, Akuna? Hope you're doing well today. And it says I am not mod anymore. Really? You're not mod anymore? I'll try to find out why. I mean, I've not really changed my mods, but I'm going to try to find out why. Raymond says, for sure. And then you have, Ao. I think that's how you pronounce it. Ao. Jason says, hi. How are you doing, Jason? Hope you're doing well today. Hope you're doing well, you guys. Right? Anna says, I don't think Sterling can fit in what Arsenal is trying to do. I think for me, I think it's a perfect fit. Right? He's a good individual player and he's a very, very good, team player as well. Right? Very, very good team player. I think it fits in. I think it fits in what we are trying to do. Unless if you're telling me that his age again, no, right? His age, if this project is going to arrive in 3 years, Raheem Sterling by 32, I think he'll still be playing football because he's got the reflexes. I feel like he's got the muscles, the legs to do that. I don't know, but I feel like he's got the legs. And then Anna says Arsenal should not just go for the Sterling transfer. All right. Koroma says, hello, Cossy. How are you doing, Koroma? And says, Hillary, we can't get him. Yeah, that is one of the reasons I've spoken about, right? That's one of the things I've spoken about, that it would be a crazy transfer from, look, he's looking at Arsenal as a club that is, yes, coming up, right? He's looking at Arsenal as a club that is coming up, but he's already hit the ceiling in the Premier League, in English football. So maybe if he was I don't know if he's a Liverpool fan, but maybe if he was an Arsenal fan, maybe that's the reason. But he's looking at himself as having hit the ceiling and now dropping, right? He would look at that as a massive drop, right? Maybe that's the reason. Yeah, you're right. You could be right as well. And then Mujib says Arsenal should forget about Raheem Sterling. He's -1, finished. Okay. Captain says, hey, Cossy, first of all, how are you? And second, do you think we will sell El Neni and potentially go for Zakaria? For me, is a must move, not just looking for him. Look, I think the truth is Mohamed El Neni might join Galatasaray. Now, there is more truth, right? There's more truth to the links of him joining Galatasaray. I think he might go out to out to Turkey, to Galatasaray, and they think it might not be Zakaria, definitely, but I think Arsenal will get in a midfield that replace El Neni and certainly Granit Xhaka. So I think we will get in someone. Good job, bro. Thank you so much, Cliff. Thank you so much. Thanks for your regular updates. Thank you so much, Koroma. It's what I do. Stella says, we all know that's impossible. Come on, Arsenal. We can't get Raheem Sterling. And then Yasin says, hello, Cossy. Thanks for the daily updates. To me, Raheem is better to replace Pepe because he's got the speed and the pace. And then James Brunner says, Sterling is good, but we still need to go for a very, very good striker. And I can't really disagree with that. Yeah, I can't really disagree with that. I feel like if Arsenal, because look, this Arsenal side, and I don't want us to be really carried away, this Arsenal side has not arrived to where we want it to be. Honestly, it has not. You look at the players that we have at the moment. They are young, they are progressive, they are impressing, right? But you still need more. You need players that can think outside the box. You need more experience to this team. You need more leadership to this team. You need more, right? Just compare us to Liverpool, not in quality, but if you compared us to Liverpool, you would see the level of maturity, the level of leadership, the level of consistency, their resilience, their character. So there's so many things that we are still lacking. There are very many things that we're still lacking. And players like Raheem Sterling with a winning mentality, because he's won. He knows, because for me, Sterling would know what it means to be in a Champions League final and losing it. He wouldn't want to lose another. He knows what it means to be in a title race, right? The same with Thomas Partey, right? So you need those kind of players. Look, going for a good striker is good. I absolutely advocate for that. I think we will need to go for a good backup goalkeeper, Ramsdale, when Leno leaves. We need the backup, right back to Tomiyasu, because we need to clear out the deadwood at right back. So we'll need a very, very good backup to Tomiyasu. There's so many players. This squad has not yet arrived. Right. Actually, in today's episode of the Super Arsenal podcast, I did host Matthew, and it should be out very, very soon. We talked about what time it takes and what time it will take for this Arsenal side to arrive to where we are going. It's gonna take some time, right? It's gonna take some time. It's not like we have arrived. We have known. It's going to take some time. It might take 3 years. It might take 4 years, adding some good players, per summer. If we get a striker that is good enough, of probably 70 million, we will need a good winger to replace Nicolas Pepe. If you get him, you need some good central midfielder to replace Granit Xhaka. If you get him, you'll need a good backup goalkeeper. So it's going to be progressive. It's not going to come out of the blue. So if anyone thinks Arsenal has arrived, you're just too carried away, right? You're just too carried away. I don't think Arsenal and the squad has arrived at all. I don't think. Right. And then Captain says, I have read 1 to 2 months ago that Arsenal are looking for a swap deal between Zakaria and Granit Xhaka. I reported about that. And that's a story that cropped up in the summer. Saying that Gladbach wanted to take Granit Xhaka back in Germany. Something that would be very interesting for me. Very, very interesting if Xhaka would go back to Germany. Because the good thing with with Xhaka and Germany is he's been there and he is he's been comfortable. The other thing is the pace in German football is that kind of it's like tournament football, right? It's like tournament football. Their pace, unless if you're playing Bayern with the likes of Kimmich, the likes of Goretzka and Sane. But if you're playing, Leverkusen, you're playing Bochum and a couple of other clubs, they have big spaces in their midfields where you can pass the ball like your Xavi Hernandez, right? But I think at the moment that is not a deal that could happen. Actually, the only swap deal that we are looking at the moment could be Edin Ketia to Gladbach and then Zakaria to Arsenal, and I've reported about that. That could be the swap deal that makes some sense. But at the moment, I don't think it's and Xhaka is injured, right? Do you think he's just going to come out from injury and then Gladbach take him in the January transfer window? I don't see it make a lot of sense. But look, I've looked at that story. Yeah, I've seen the story. Was reported widely, really, really widely. And the Captain Nemo says, I'll be super excited if we sign Max Aarons. He's really underrated because of his team knowledge, which fails too many times to stay in the Premier League. Look, we've been linked with Max Aarons, but Max Aarons can't come in as an understudy now, right? I think if it is and look, I think it's underrated. Bayern wanted him at some point in time. Barcelona wanted him at some point in time. So did Arsenal, so did Manchester United, so did many other clubs. They wanted Max Aarons, and that shows you the level at which he can perform. That shows you the level at which he can he can be good. So look, I got no problems with Max Aarons, but with Tomiyasu now already in, you're looking at a profile of a player who is going to be silently learning and lingering in the shadows of Tomiyasu. That is not Max Aarons. If Max Aarons comes in, he wants to be a starter, right? Look at Nuno Tavares. He's playing at left back, but he knows that is not yet his position already. It's not yet his position already. Yes, it might become his position in 1 to 2, in 2 to 3 years from now, but it's not yet his position. He's the backup to Kientieni. So we need someone who comes in as a backup to Tomiyasu. 19 years, right? So 18 years, 19 years, just come in as a backup, right? Don't cause much trouble. So I would love Max Aarons, but I think he might not be the answer at the moment now. And then what are you saying? Chris says, what about this Bologna and Swedish DM Matthias Svambank? I've not really seen Svenbank play. I've not really seen Svenbank play. Can't lie, right? I can't lie. I say I watch much of the Italian Serie A these days, but have I watched Bologna play this season? I don't think. I've been watching the big boys. Captain Nemo says yes, Tomiyasu is good, but not too fast. like he plays, great at right back. But I think we must have speed on the right side, bro. Yeah, look, you're right. I say this. I've already said with this with Tomiyasu that my problem with him is that his heat maps. I don't know if we can get a heat map for Tomiyasu here. No, if I could show you his heat maps, he's like a center back. He's like a center back. He comes only, his concentration, his heat maps. If you look at his heat maps, the concentration is at the center, is at the center line. I don't get it. I don't get it. Why? But the concentration is only up to the center line. He only comes forward, and when he comes forward, he doesn't go, to the line to cross. He's actually, hiding somewhere, still in the midfield. So, and he doesn't have the pace really. But could that be what Mikel Arteta wants? Because Mikel Arteta is really looking at pragmatic defensive football, right? He's looking at being organized, defensive-wise, fast, and then the other things come in later. So, look, I think it perfectly works well for Mikel Arteta. And also, Mikel won't be worried because on that side, he has Saka, who goes until the end of the line and crosses in, or cuts inside and does his thing. So I think, look, Tomiyasu, he needs to up his game in terms of going forward, but defensive wise, he's actually doing well. So, but he's young, and we say this in the summer that these players are young, really, right? There's a lot to learn. Captain says like Tommy is converted to be right back, but actually he is a center back. Maybe, right? Maybe when we signed him, one of the things that we were told is his versatility. He's really, really versatile. So. Why not? Guys, we've streamed for an hour, and I would love to thank everybody who's been watching me for full 70 minutes. Thank you so much for doing that. I really do appreciate. Smash a like on the video if you enjoy the content. Make sure you never miss a video. If you want to do that, subscribe and hit the notification bell. You will never miss a video. Thanks everybody for tuning in. I'll speak to you at 9 p.m. Why not? Cossy for now. Cossy forever, the best Arsenal content creator. I'll see you soon.